Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your wages are being garnished. We can stop that now. It's hard enough to pay your bills when things are good, let alone when a big chunk of your take-home pay is gone before you even get your check. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne, and I can stop the garnishment and get the creditors off your back immediately, often the same day as our consultation. Both Chapter 7 and 13 provide bankruptcy relief, but choosing the right chapter is crucial. In a free consultation, we can create a plan to get your finances back under your control. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle, giving you a chance to go to L.A. with a friend and see Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. First, you're heading to L.A., that's a fun city. Secondly, firstly, it's actually Slash and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. Then L.A. is a fun city.
On my way in today, I was just listening to Slash get interviewed by Mark Maron on the most recent episode. So if you're a guitar nerd, this is an episode you definitely want to hear because they get super geeky when it comes to guitar stuff. And obviously talking about the new album, and Mark's a big fan of it, and obviously Slash is very proud of it, and it's coming out this Friday.
So you want more info about how you can get this trip to L.A., check out Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. All you got to do is go to KISW.com, get your chance to win.
Let's play B-Migs.
It's time to play the game. So everybody scream his name. B-Migs, don't be a loser. Whoa! B-Migs, you're a loser.
It is time to be Migs. It's time to turn down for Thursday.
Turn down for what?
What? Thursday. What? Thursday. What? Friday Junior.
That's what I'm talking about.
About time you gave the right answer, son.
Yeah.
All right.
It's somebody's Friday out there.
Okay. I have no problem with that. Let's get to our contestant today. We got Dawn in Shoreline. Dawn,
No, we don't.
We don't.
No.
Quitter. Does that mean we have Jimbo in Tacoma?
We do.
Jimbo, are you there, sir?
I'm here.
Excellent.
Wait, Don just wanted to leave us with a statement before she...
I quit this bitch.
Wow. Intimidated by Steve.
Sometimes that happens.
She failed, so we've got Jimbo. And what is Jimbo playing for today, Steve?
He's playing for 4 passes to the Seattle Aquarium.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Go to KISW.com for all the details. You want to go to the aquarium, get your tickets over at seattleaquarium.org.
All right, Steve, get out of here. Get out! For those playing at home, Jimbo will have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. Jimbo, you can pass all you want, but you will only get 3 guesses per question. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
What hockey team jersey does Cameron wear in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Blackhawks.
No.
Bruins.
No.
Pass.
Mila Kunis voices which character on Family Guy?
Meg.
Yes. What is Ethiopia's main commercial crop?
Bananas.
No.
Pass.
Which was the first city to be devastated by the dropping of an atomic bomb?
Hiroshima.
Yes. Who directed the 1978 film Halloween?
John Carpenter.
Yes.
Nice.
Which one-time presidential candidate won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007?
Jimmy Carter.
No.
Pass.
Who wrote the novel Jurassic Park?
Oh,
Michael Crichton.
Yes. What is the name of the virtual reality console made by HTC?
VR.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4 correct.
Jimbo. But at least you guessed the Bruins. You made me feel good about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I love the Bees getting a little mention on the air.
Oh, well, there you go. And unfortunately, it was wrong. But
yes.
Steve still has his work cut out for him. He's got to answer some questions.
Yeah, that's kind of what the game is. Yeah, he's
right?
got to answer these questions. And correctly.
Steve, are you ready? Yes. What hockey team jersey does Cameron wear in the movie Ferris Bueller's
Detroit
Day
Red Wings.
Off? Yes. Yeah. Mila Kunis voices which character on Family Guy?
Is it Meg?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is
She's
Ethiopia?
so hot.
Whoa, sorry. What is Ethiopia's main commercial crop?
I don't know. Hair?
No.
Hair. Yes.
Vegetables?
No.
Weed?
No. Which was the first city to be devastated by the dropping of an atomic bomb?
Hiroshima.
Yes. Who directed the 1978 film Halloween?
John Carpenter.
Yes. Which one-time presidential candidate won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007?
John Kerry?
No.
Al Gore?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wrote the novel Jurassic Park?
Oh, Michael Chiklis.
No.
Michael Crichton?
Yes.
All right.
What is the name of the virtual reality console made by HTC?
Virtual reality console. The touch?
No.
The space.
No.
The feelers.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You win 6-4.
Oh, sorry, Jimbo.
It was a close one.
Take it easy, buddy.
Ferris Bueller a million times.
Yep, didn't get it.
I know. It was
If you're not a hockey fan, it probably just looks like it's just a piece of clothing, I guess.
But it's a red jersey and it's got a wing on it, red wings.
You wouldn't remember that either, Rev.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Sorry about that, Jimbo.
I remember because being a hockey fan, I thought it was so cool that he was wearing a hockey jersey, but so disappointing that it was a Red Wings jersey.
Sorry about that,
And
buddy.
it was interesting because it's set in Chicago.
Right.
And he wasn't wearing a Blackhawks jersey, which Jimbo did guess as well.
That's a good guess.
Mm-hmm. It's a solid guess there on that
I
one.
wonder why that is, unless the director or somebody was a fan of the Wings, because you're right. Why wouldn't he have a Blackhawks jersey on if it's a movie in Chicago?
Well, probably because, the Cameron character was a loser, so they figured what better loser jersey to wear than a Red Wings jersey.
Oh, good call.
Wow.
Good call.
I say that because I know there's a couple Red Wings fans
Yeah.
that listen to the
I was
show.
wondering why.
I'm anticipating the text from them to tell me to F off.
That's exactly the reason, Steve. You hit it right on the head.
The virtual reality console made by the HTC.
That's the Vive.
The Vive.
That too.
Yes.
It's the Adam and Vive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then Ethiopia's main commercial crop.
Is it rice?
No.
It's not hair. You're positive about that.
I'm absolutely positive it is not hair.
Is it coffee?
It's coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, if you look at our brewer stations in here, they're all Ethiopian coffees.
I forget that they do they actually do a lot of coffee out there.
Mm-hmm. You didn't know that, Steve, but you knew enough to win. Congrats with 6 correct.
Thank you.
Good job, Stevie. That means caller number 6, you are getting those 4 passes to the Seattle Aquarium. Great day at the pier, too, man. Caller number 6, 206-421-ROCK. All right, we got 1,000 parents who were asked 5 different activities, and if in these activities they would let a 10-year-old do them today without supervision.
Oh, this should be good. This goes back to yesterday's conversation about helicopter and now lawnmower parents.
Yeah, which basically lawnmower parents mow down any adversity that's in their kids' way. They will not let their kids suffer any adversity.
Because I wonder how many of these now are debatable, but I look back when I was a kid were no-brainers.
Yeah. And again, that's what they asked. So they said, all right, here's some activities that would you let your kid do them? And did your parents let you do them? So they had that follow-up question. Would you let your 10-year-old stay home alone for an hour or two? 53% of them said, yeah, they did it by the time they were 10, but only 36% said it's okay for kids today. Plus, I think it's illegal.
Yeah, I don't know the legality of it. I just think about when I was growing up. My mom and dad let me stay around the house by myself at the age of 10 because my brother was 13. So as long as my brother was around, it was okay, which was kind of weird because then for however long my parents were gone, my brother would just torture me for however.
Yeah, that was the worst thing to do, is to leave the older sibling in charge of the younger kids. Well, yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, that's when he realized that he could shoot me with BB guns without them being around to bust me.
Yeah, absolute power. Damn.
I feel like I was allowed to stay by myself. I took care of my brother, but I also knew how to cook by the age of 10. So
What?
Yeah, I wanted to learn. I'm like, Mom, teach me how to do that. I wanted to know.
How did you reach the stove?
I mean, it still has that problem.
I know.
AJ.
It's a chair.
Yeah.
You get a chair, and I used to climb on the counters. I still do.
Yeah, there's no way we're letting 10-year-olds even do stuff like cook by themselves. I don't think we're letting our people do that now.
What was your first dish?
It was scrambled eggs with potatoes or ham and beans, because we didn't do hash browns. We did beans.
Still, that is legit.
Yeah.
Scrambled eggs and beans. That's not going to make somebody fart.
Nope.
Nope, not at all. How about this? Walk or bike to school alone?
Yes.
Oh, I did that. I mean, my entire neighborhood did that.
Yeah, that was just a no-brainer for everybody in our neighborhood. All the kids walked them because we were about, I'd say, maybe 10 to 12 blocks away from our elementary school. So they just go walk with her and him and them. But my mom made it sure, like, she walked me once and said, this is the route that you have to take.
Yeah.
Because there were friends on all these different blocks. So sometimes it was a little off the beaten path, but like you turned here, you went there. And parents would just stand outside and watch kids go by to make sure. So it was almost like it was that whole it takes a village thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, our school was about a mile away, so we weren't allowed to walk there. But we had certain checkpoints in our neighborhood that we weren't allowed to go past. So there's 2 hills on either side of our house, and we weren't allowed to go further than that. Otherwise, my mom would stand and embarrass the crap out of us on the front porch and just scream, "Victoria!" Just, if she didn't see us, that meant we have to run back if we try to go past that.
So she's like Johnny Drama when he's going, "Victory!"
Yeah. It's like, "Victoria!"
Boy, it's so funny how times have changed because obviously, Steve, you're younger than me, and Vicky, you're younger than Steve. Nobody cared where we went. Nobody cared. I don't ever remember being supervised. I was just told, here's what time you have to come home. That's all I remember.
Only rule was when school wasn't in session, especially. But even then, I think my parents didn't care because it wasn't super late anyway. Their only rule was be home by dark.
See, my parents were born and raised in Mexico, so things are a little different there. Kidnapping was a little bit more prevalent. So they kind of brought that over and kind of had that mentality.
But don't they kidnap desirable people? I don't think
See, they wouldn't have tried to kidnap me.
Yeah.
I'd just be too annoying.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Fast.
Yes.
They'd be like, I'll tell you what, here's some money. You can have her back. And we're so sorry for
Plus,
this.
you could duck under cars without even ducking while running away.
Yeah.
You just walk right under them.
So about 7 out of 10 people actually let their kids used to walk to school themselves, the parents. Now less than half of them will let their kids do it. I would love to find out, and I don't know if there's any way to know, are we more in danger now than we were then as far as our kids getting hurt or kidnapped? Or is it because there's so much news and social media and stuff we think we are? I would love to know that because this sucks if in fact it's the same safety level, but people are just more scared, which is why they're helicoptering and lawn mowing there with their parenting.
Well, we've talked about how 18-year-olds are really actually younger than they actually are. 18-year-olds back in the day would buy a house and get married and have children. 18-year-olds now are just dumb teenagers. I'm wondering if kids are just kind of dumber.
I don't know.
young trust.
Probably 10 is still 10. I don't think that. I mean, I don't know if the maturity really starts kicking in until you start becoming a teenager.
See, I would argue that kids are much more sophisticated now. The stuff that kids know and do and their awareness is, I think, a lot higher than mine. I think it's the parents. I don't think it's the kids. The kids are brilliant. You see what they're doing. I mean, the 3-year-olds are able to manipulate iPads and go to the Apple store and get. I mean, there's no way that I could do that. So, and they also know more. I don't think they're as naive as I was about certain worldly issues. I think kids are learning more and more earlier in life than we did. So I think it might just be the parenting.
You're probably right. I would imagine at some point parents just got a little super freaked out because of the internet, and the news comes out a lot quicker and faster, and we hear about it more.
Yeah.
I'm an older millennial, and my mom never let me walk to school, or it was a privilege when I got to walk home from school with my friends when I was in 9th grade.
Wow.
But she was like, no, you're not. I'm
14 years old, and you weren't able to walk home with your buddies.
My mom would only react if I did something stupid. So she'd be like, yeah, you could go skateboard to school. And I would skateboard to school, and then one time I came home, and my face was all completely torn up because I fell and just scraped my face against the concrete. And then she's like, you can't skateboard to school anymore. I was like, son of a bitch. All right, now can I take my BMX bicycle? Sure, you can take your BMX bicycle. Yeah. And then I got hit by a car.
Yeah.
She's like, you can't do that anymore.
You alive.
Your parents gave you a lot of
hard. It was, the front wheel got nicked, and I tumbled over. The car didn't hit me physically. So that was my argument. It was the bike, not me.
I give your parents a lot of credit because I wouldn't keep giving you chances. I think once I saw your stupidity quotient, I would have been like, no, you have too high of an SQ. You're not going anywhere.
And then I would never left the house at 5.
That's exactly. I wouldn't have let you go. I want to read this last one because this definitely hits home for me. And that's trick-or-treating, because that's coming up soon.
Yep.
I mean, I don't ever remember having an adult with me as when I could remember. Now, when I was a really little kid where I can't remember so much, I bet adults were with me. But as far as I can remember trick-or-treat, I always went out with my buddies.
Yep.
I never had an adult with me.
Yeah, I don't think we did either. Come to think of it.
Even at like age 5?
Well, I don't remember much at that age.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever I can
you
remember.
keep getting hit by cars and smash your face in the pavement.
I had concussions at the age of 5. What do you want from me? No, I think it was the same, because I remember when I started becoming more of an adult where I had a house and people would trick or treat. I thought it was odd at first that it would be a group of parents and then all the kids. I was just like, wow. But that's just the times we live in now.
You're right. Only 24% of parents let their kids go out by themselves, which I think is a high number. I almost think nobody does. But when I was younger, nobody. I mean, you just went out. That's how much. Again, is it more dangerous to go trick or treating now than it was then? I don't know. I remember hearing about razor blades and apples and candy and all that stuff when I was a kid.
Fear.
Yeah,
I still think parents made that story up so they could taste all of our candy before us.
It was one of my.
Think about it. Have you ever read a story? I mean, I think recently there was one.
Yeah.
There was almost. There was never an actual story of somebody putting razor blades in candy or any kind of harmful stuff. You just heard the potential danger of it.
See, and that's the key that I hope that people take a good, long, hard look at it, because if the reality is that society isn't as dangerous as you think it is, then you're living in fear because, well, commercials or whatever or social media clickbait is making you think that life is more dangerous than it really is, and that's a sucky way to live. Yeah, I really wish someone would do a study on this. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, trick-or-treating's fun, especially you go hang out with your buds, man. All right.
One text says, my dad would let me stand up on the backseat of his 1971 Firebird doing 90 miles per hour in Hawaii. He would jerk the wheel to the side to see if I could bounce off the windows. In 1980, it was fun family time. Today, it's called child abuse.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever do that. Or if I don't know if I'd want my parents to ever have me do that. Let me tell you about this star football player. He's making the news because, well, he wanted to get a divorce from his coach. And I'll tell you why. It's 7:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Well, it's football season, so this new book is coming out at the right time, written by New York Times bestselling author Ian O'Connor, and it's titled Belichick, the Making of the Greatest Football Coach of All Time. It's hard to argue that he's not.
No, and it's because the team has changed so much, and really the only constant has been, I mean, some players have stuck around a little bit longer than others, but really it's been him and Brady.
Yeah. And
it's been ridiculous how many times we've gone to the Super Bowl.
And it basically does focus on that relationship, Bill's relationship with Tom Brady. A source told Ian this past offseason that Brady was pushed to the edge and wanted a divorce from Belichick and the Patriots. The source said, quote, if you're married 18 years to a grouchy person who gets under your skin and never compliments you, after a while, you want to divorce him. Now, this is the source saying this. This isn't the source that's saying that Tom Brady's saying this.
Right.
This is the source, basically the source's opinion of the situation.
Maybe Tom should do what your wife did, just move to California.
Well, that may sound funny to you, but
I'm joking.
It's not really, Steve, because that's probably what they get in the off season. They probably get enough time away from each other that he can deal with the time that they do have together.
Almost like when somebody says, I'm done with it, never going to do it again, and then they have a few months off and they can, a lot of times a lot of players say they don't want to announce they're going to retire right after a season because of course they don't want to do it again at that moment, because the season just ended. Their body's beat up.
It's the Daniel Craig effect.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to be Bond again until 3 years later when they ask me to do a movie. Then I'll be Bond again.
And offer me an insane amount of money.
Yeah. So how about that? He says Tom knows that Bill is the best coach in the league, but he's had enough of him. If Tom could, I think he would divorce him. Again, quoted to this unnamed source that Ian researched in the book.
What's nice is that, a lot of times people hear, you forget that other cities are having the same drama about their football team that we have with the Seahawks, because that big story came out about Russell Wilson right before the season started. It's nice to know that it doesn't matter how successful a team is, there's always going to be drama behind the scenes.
Yeah, especially with the quarterback, if he's halfway good, then he's going to be at some point the epicenter of some drama. And Ian's book also claims that Brady's own family thought that Belichick would screw over Brady. Tom's sister Nancy reportedly told People her brother believed, quote, Belichick will definitely do to him someday what the Colts did to Peyton Manning. So she's saying that Tom believes this, according to his sister.
I mean, have we not forgotten, though, this is a business? It's not an actual relationship, and it's not like a wife leaving her husband because he got sick and has ailments. This is a professional franchise. Peyton Manning had neck issues, and they had the future in Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
It's inevitable that it's going to happen. You think they're going to keep Peyton Manning until he dies?
Yeah, someday they're going to do the same thing to me that they did to Joe Montana in San Francisco.
Move on.
I mean, that's just going to happen.
I don't know if that's doing someone dirty.
I know. That's just so dumb. If Tom is that emotional that he really, really believes he's going to get screwed over someday, well, yeah, someday they'll push you out. I don't know if it'll be Belichick, but you know what? You'll be, 40? You'll be 50 or something, and they'll have to throw you out.
It might also, obviously, when they had Garoppolo for a minute, maybe he was thinking, okay, my time is almost over.
Yeah.
And that kind of gets in somebody's head.
No, that didn't happen, did it?
No.
That's what happens when you keep going to Super Bowls. As for what contributed to the tension between Brady and Belichick, Ian O'Connor was on ESPN. He talked about it.
It's remarkable it took 17, 18 years for any fracture to come into public view. It's a testament to them, really, that it didn't happen for so long. But once Belichick drafted Garoppolo in 2014 and said that night, he cited Tom's age and contract status and said, I'd rather be early than late at this position. It made it inevitable. Also, 17, 18 years of being coached in an unforgiving way by Belichick wore Brady down. And then, of course, the way Belichick marginalized Alex Guerrero, his business partner and life coach, and it all sort of came together to represent a last straw. I was told by a number of sources that as late March, Brady wasn't sure he was going to play again for Belichick.
Are you surprised, though? Again, everything we've known about Bill Belichick, what he said, all those things he said, sounds totally like Belichick. He just seems like a crabby guy, but you know what? He's a smart guy, gets it done, and doesn't seem to suffer fools and says very little. I know people like that in my life. Some people might think I'm that guy, but that's who they are.
The grouchy, crabby part, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very smart. But yeah, I mean, why is this all of a sudden big news to you, Tom?
Well, I think he just hit a breaking point, it sounds like. He was finally at a point where he's like, I'm just done with this. And then when all of a sudden you start seeing that your career is probably almost over and there's somebody nipping at the butt of the position. Because I also read that something where he was like, he was pretty much done, but then when they traded Garoppolo, he's just like, well, if I leave now after they just traded what could have been their future quarterback, I'm going to look like the biggest douche in the world to the fan base.
Yeah. And frankly, you know what? Tom should get to have to play behind the Seattle Seahawks offensive line just for a game, and then he'll never want to leave New England again. I mean, you know, oh, poor you. You know, I mean,
go home and cry to Giselle.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot about that, too. Yeah, poor you.
It's the lukewarm topic of the day.
So, according to this book by Ian O'Connor, he says Tom Brady considered divorcing Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Based on this, besides an actual significant other, when did you divorce yourself from someone and why? And again, it's not your significant other. We're just talking about somebody else in your life. When did you divorce yourself from someone and why? 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. We'll take your calls and your texts after the Chili's on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Tom Brady considered divorcing Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And based on this, we want to know, besides an actual significant other, when did you divorce yourself from someone and why? 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. Let's go to Ben in Linwood. Ben, you are on The Rock.
Hey, guys. How's it going this morning?
Not too bad. Ben, what you got for us today, buddy?
Well, I used to, it was when I was, I was taking a year off college and I was working two jobs. One was delivering pizzas, one was at a furniture store. And a rumor started going around the furniture store that I delivered pizzas to the store manager, and he opened the door in his underwear along with the receptionist. And I caught them having an affair together because they were both married to separate people.
Oy, oy, oy. So this wasn't true, but somebody said that's what happened?
Correct. Somebody started this rumor. I have no idea who or how it started, but I found out about it when I got pulled into the store manager's office and almost got fired for spreading that rumor. And then I was on thin ice. And it was about that time that I decided I really needed to go back to college.
Yeah, get out of that situation.
Oh, dude, that sucks. I hate that. And of course, the manager thinks it was you, and they're not going to believe it wasn't you because you're involved in the rumor.
Now, was this the manager? Was this the manager of the pizza place or the furniture place?
The furniture place.
Oh, okay, because
although the receptionist, she was extremely attractive.
You know, the fact that I wonder if it was true, though. You know what I mean? Granted, it wasn't you, but I wonder if somebody knew he was banging that receptionist and just decided to say, oh, you know what? The pizza guy found out.
Here's the kicker. They both ended up getting divorces because they were banging each other.
There we go. That's it.
Where there's smoke.
Yeah.
There's sex.
Yeah. When somebody wants to shoot the messenger or even the alleged messenger, when they really, really protest too hard, that's when you can tell that, hey, there may be some truth to that. Well, good for you, Ben. I'm glad that you got out and made a good life for yourself and basically having all this joy because you listen to us. See how it's turned around for him?
What about this text? I had to divorce my aunt. She hooked up with my then boyfriend one night while I was asleep.
Whoa!
What? It's like a penthouse forum.
No. Oh, that's no.
I can't believe it happened to me.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
No, I can't believe it happened with my aunt. No.
The one that I had was about last year or so. Everyone has that miserable friend, and this time it wasn't me. It was somebody else, but it was always the negative Nancy.
Yep.
And you just kind of deal with it because, it's a friend. It's just how they are. Well, he'd been going through some tough times, and it was every time that we would ever talk, it'd always be like a confrontational sort of thing. It'd always be just yelling or just being pissed off about something. And I kind of had it, so I kind of backed off on it. Well, the last straw came was a couple years ago. My wife Michelle dressed up as Negan from
The Walking Dead.
From
the
The
guy
Walking
with the
Dead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was super fun, super awesome. But he decided to post on Facebook that we were being racist. Because she dressed up as Negan.
How is that racist that she dresses up? I mean, she's a white chick. He's a white dude. I don't understand how that's racist.
Because Negan killed the only Asian character on The Walking Dead.
Okay. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. And that was when I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm cool. I give up.
Yeah, you got to give up on someone like that.
It was like the most ridiculous thing ever.
Negan killed everybody. It didn't matter, gender, it didn't matter orientation, didn't matter ethnicity. Negan, you know what? He'll put a bat to anybody's head.
And so at that point I realized there's no reasoning with this guy. He's going to pick a fight over anything.
What a life.
Yeah, and I didn't need that.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
Yeah, it comes to a point when some people get all upset when you just decide I'm just cutting you out of my life. It's like, look, buddy, this is not the person I want in my life. Sorry, you're a miserable F that wants to accuse my wife of certain things, but I'm done with you.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they think they're shocked when you decide you don't want to be around them anymore. It's like, I don't want to be around losers like you.
It's happened to me, and that's when you take a good hard look in the mirror. I mean, I was the guy that people cut out.
Somebody divorced you?
Dude, a group of dudes divorced me.
Oh, man.
It was like an intervention divorce.
Wow. They're like, they sat you down and said, we're done with you?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it was now looking back on it, I can really see how right they were. But I believe that was the beginning of me going, I need to figure something out because everybody's miserable with me. Everybody, eventually you realize the whole world's against me. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, maybe they're right.
How long ago was this?
Oh, this was like 25, 30 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. It was an old radio station I worked for. And we would all get together, me and these guys. They were the sales guys. And so we all hung out. We were thick as thieves, but every Friday we get together, and I loved it because I called it the bitch sessions, and all I would do is complain about the company, complain about my job, and then they realized, you know what, we don't have good attitudes. We can't go out and sell if this guy just keeps bringing us down. So they sat me down and said, we just can't do this anymore with you, buddy. We're out.
Wow.
And I like a lot of the guys to this day. I mean, I'm still friends. I've reconnected with them because I've said, hey, you guys are right, but I really love these dudes. And so I had to look in the mirror and go, what the hell's wrong with me? And I wonder how many people actually do that. When you get divorced, when somebody divorces you like this as a friend, I hope you look in the mirror because that's not easy for someone to do, to give you the boot. It's not. It really isn't easy for someone to tell you, I need to cut you out of my life.
I had that happen where I told someone and I basically was done with them, and I said it's because they were a user in many ways, but they were using a lot of things. And then they had the nerve to hit me back up a few years after that. And out of the blue, just happened to hit me up on the same day of the Pearl Jam concert.
Of course they did.
Asking if I was going and saying that they were hoping to go. Didn't have tickets, obviously. And I'm like, well, I wonder were you hoping that I would give you a ticket? Like out of the blue. I'm just like, no, not even responding. I don't have that time. I'm not accepting this toxic personality back in my life.
I don't. Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, you don't need that, especially when it's like I got my hand out. I hate that.
Yeah.
It's like that's all I ever was to you. Then just basically a cash machine or whatever.
And you think that I'm so oblivious that the same day of a show, that's the day that you decided to check in on me.
Just so happens.
It's been like 5 years, but yeah, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
How about this one? This is great. I divorced my best friend. He got drunk at my wedding.
He puked during the best man speech. We kicked him out. He showed up an hour later, stripped to his underwear, and tried to pinch my mom's ass while yelling, "I'm the wedding lobster." That was the last time I ever saw him.
I'm the wedding lobster. That is a wedding I wish I was at.
Sunburnt?
Yeah, why couldn't you and I have been at that wedding? That would have been fantastic. Yeah. I mean, seriously, and he comes back? Oh, this guy.
Of all the people, you went for the mom.
Yeah. I don't appreciate that. That would have pissed me off, no matter if I was at the wedding or not. You don't touch the parents. But I'm the wedding lobster. Now that I would have enjoyed.
The only other person I remember I quote unquote divorced was a buddy. I was just a terrible drunk, and he would always lead to fights and cause problems. And it just got to the point where I just can't. Even though I thought the world of him when he was sober, I was just finally hit a point where I'm like, man, until you clean your crap up, I can't be around you, man.
Yeah.
And stop texting me at 2 a.m. with the most. It would always just be a random thought. I wouldn't hear from him all week, and then I would get a text at 2 a.m. and it was just something about caterpillars or something really random, a deep thought that he had that was clear that he was wasted when he was sending it.
Yeah, dude, that's. Man, and you know what? When that happens when someone's older, it's not pretty.
That was what I said to him, because he's like, "Oh, you used to have no problem with this." And I'm like, "I'm 40 now, man.
Yeah.
We're not 25. This at some point you have to. For me to tell somebody to grow up, that's crazy."
Yeah, as you bring it up, Steve, I told you recently I talked to a guy that I hadn't talked to in years, and he just, during my game night, and of course, I find out he also bothered Sarah. He called her first to just have this rambling conversation about why his life isn't so good. And then finally, I know. How weird is that? I mean, he calls my daughter and then he calls me. And so I talked to him. I don't know. He doesn't say that he talked to my daughter. Tells me his life is the way it is. And I'm like, well, do you know why? Do you know the other person's side of the story? I don't know, man. And then, of course, I talked to Sarah, find out, hey, this guy called. And she goes, oh, it called me too. And by the way, I talked to the other person who was involved. And Sarah told me the other side. And of course, there's alcohol involved. And it's like, well, it's funny. You talk to somebody. I'm on the phone with somebody for an hour. I go, you have no idea why this happened to you. And then, of course, you get the other side. Oh, here's why. Alcohol. It's like, thanks for wasting my time, you in denial SOB. Go dry out. You're over 40 years old. It's not a good look to be a raging alcoholic and pretend like your life is falling apart and you don't know why. It's because you're a drunk. That's why.
One person says and they're right. That's the addiction talking, man. I'm sorry I had a buddy in that space. It's hard for both parties. Absolutely. It sucks.
I got no time for it because you know what? If you're my friend, stop hiding. If I'm gonna spend my time talking to you, stop hiding. Be a man and go, look, I think my drinking has chased a person away.
But when you say that, it's probably the toughest step for somebody to take.
Well, then you know what?
They're lying to themselves as well, and until they stop doing that,
you're right.
They're not going to stop lying to you.
Well, I'm done talking to people that lie like that. I like talk about cut them out of my life. It's like, look, until you admit to me you got something going on, don't call me anymore. So what else could I do?
Wedding Lobster is going to be a new fantasy football team name.
Yeah.
I'm the Wedding Lobster.
I'm the Wedding Lobster that needs to be a T-shirt from Aaron.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard this. A couple of guys from Boston tried to keep something hostage from the Red Sox in the dumbest possible way ever.
They're going to make you proud, BJ.
Yeah, my boys.
They got the best accents.
You're going to hear from them at 7:47 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. How much does bankruptcy cost?
Usually with my office, we do a flat fee that includes all your court costs, filing fees, credit counseling, credit reports in one cost. In Chapter 13 cases, that usually starts at about $900. With Chapter 7 cases, the total cost, including all your court costs, attorney fees, is usually about $1,500. We offer payment plans on Chapter 7, so you can start a file with my office for as little as $200. You can send your creditor calls to us. We'll take your creditor calls while you gather up your information and make payments on the rest of the fees. With Chapter 13 cases, we can make payment arrangements in most cases as well and get your case filed even sooner in a Chapter 13 case because of the reorganization aspect to it.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.